morning, Parklands. I only recently just started coming to the church regularly, and I just wanted to say how blessed I feel and how hospitable everyone has been so far, especially Belinda, in welcoming me to the church. I feel very much at home, and it's my favorite place to be, and I look forward to it every week. So thank you so much. Okay. So the testimony that I'm going to give today is also a testimony of God's goodness, but I'm a little bit nervous to give it because it kind of feels like an insult to other people's testimonies, but I hope that you won't mind that I give it anyway. And another thing is that my thoughts are a little bit fragmented. It's been a long day, very many restless nights, and so I hope that you may pardon me if my thoughts don't come out the way that I intend for them to come out. So I hope that the Holy Spirit will help me, that the meaning is still conveyed clearly. So my testimony, like I said, is me as a person. I have been very lucky my whole life, and it's a very strange thing being scared to speak about being lucky and how grateful you are to be alive, To people, it's very strange that you not want to share that you have been lucky, But it's always a struggle that I've faced. So I thought that today I might get courage to be able to talk about it finally. So I was born into Adventism. Both of my parents are Adventists. My grandparents are Adventists. And I even got to see 4 of my great-grandparents. One of my great-grandmas died in 2017. She was 105, And another thing that I would like to say is that my parents are still together. They still love each other. They're still in the church. I have a very supportive, kind family, because a lot of people don't understand how important or how far kindness goes. And apart from that, I have received so much grace and so much kindness from the world, from people like Belinda that I have encountered in my life. I have received so much generosity, so much love. I have my whole life seen so much light been shone in my life, and I'm just so grateful for it, I was born very bright, and even as a running around kid, I was very hyper, and then I'd be sleeping in my classes, just disrupting everyone, blah blah blah. Then the exam would come and I'd pass. So the rumors start. They're like, oh my god, little doctor, and it's how it's you do it. It's how you do it. Immediately, someone gets a 99 in math. You're like, yeah, engineer, And so even before I knew what I wanted to become, the society had kind of already molded me and kind of pushed me into a certain direction, So here I am in school, an Adventist school. I've been so lucky, And I'm sitting here in church, and we have an alumnus coming in, and she's speaking in front of all these people, and she's so eloquent and well-spoken, and she's a doctor. And I'm looking at her, and I'm thinking, I want that. I want to be able to stand in front of people and speak eloquently, and I want to be a doctor. This is what I want from my life, But then I was pretty useless in school, you guys. I was horrible as a student, So this kind of hope, it's not something you should really trust in, because if you really want something, you should really work hard towards it, But I didn't. I was just kind of there, I loved reading books, but I didn't really love social studies or Kiswahili or anything really that involved me actually sitting down and reading, And then, so now imagine, this is me going through primary school, and then we have KCPE exams coming up. And I'd always been bright, but I wasn't that smart, I was always top 10, but I was never up there, And then the KCPE exams, and for the first time ever, I was top student at my school, which is ridiculous, you guys. These people were studying so hard. We were in primary school, 12, 13-year-olds waking up at 4 in the morning to study. I was being beaten out of bed every day. I was first in my school. So I was like, oh my God, what do you mean? And then I was also first in my county. And because I was first in my county, I got the opportunity, together with other people in the country who are also first in their counties, to go to State House, and we stayed there for a week, which was amazing. Thank you very much. And then another thing that came out of this opportunity is that I also got the very first recipient of a female-only scholarship to an elite high school here in Nairobi, which mind-blowing. Like, I did not work for any of these things. I was just chilling in Kisii, you know, just waiting for Kiswahili class to go by because I have a novel tucked in the back of the class that I need to get back to ASAP. And here was the biggest opportunity that I hadn't even thought to dream of. And I was here with all these rich black kids and rich white kids and rich people of every race. And I was sitting in class with them and I was thinking, oh my God, this is so wonderful. But we forget so easily, you know? We forget so easily. And so I kind of breezed through high school, but then because it was an international school, we used to have A-levels. Now the problem with A-levels is that it is different. You can't just not study and then pass your exams, yeah? And so something went wrong because I was class of 2020, and that class did not have end of year exams. We didn't get to do that. So my old strategy of just waiting till 2 weeks before the exam to study didn't work, because what did they use instead of our final exams? They used our grades throughout the year. And for the first time ever, look at me, boo, 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 I failed. So now I'm tucking my tail between my legs, going back to Kisii, crying to my parents, being like, oh my God, I can't believe this. And then after a year of just moping and sobbing and being like, oh my God, I'm such a failure, I've disappointed everyone, I joined 844. And I know this is such a horrible thing to say, but it felt like a fall from grace. Come on, I was built for more than this. I shouldn't be going back to studying Swahili. You know, this is not who I am. But then I was back there, you know, I was humble, and I was sitting there, and it was horrible, you know. 844 have classes 6 to 6. The chairs, so hard. Everything was just not going in my favor, bro. And they give homework, and I like my notes written a certain way, you know. And then this one time, the teacher comes to class. He's teaching Swahili, Fasihi, whatever. And then he's coming into class, and he's like, oh, collect your notebooks. And I'm like, collect our notebooks? Why? And then he's like, oh, we want to check your notes. And I say, whatever. Sure. He takes them, brings it back, marked through my notes. And if you don't know this, you probably, if you don't know me, you wouldn't know this, but I hate that. I hate that. He came back and had corrections. He had circled my work and been like, you can't use green pen. And I'm wondering, it's my notes. I'm the one reading this. What do you care? Which color? You know? And it's it was just not a good place for me. But I was there for a while. I joined, when I joined, I wanted to do the last year, but I couldn't because the registration had already happened. So I ended up joining Form 3. I did third term of Form 3, and then I did Form 4. And all of those because of COVID, they all happened in 1 year. So I was there from around 2021 November to 2022 November, and then our exams were in December. And God was so merciful and gracious, and I passed, and I got an opportunity to do medicine at Aga Khan, which, you guys, I could have never dreamed of that. I was so grateful and humbled. But do you guys know Aga Khan? Have you guys seen the fee structure? My God, how did they fit that many digits on one page? That's ridiculous. It's you switch it to USD so you can see just a few, it's horrible. And so we're standing in front of You know, I'm sitting with my parents and we have, oh my God, amazing. You're going to study medicine. And then 7 figures. And then it's like, how are we going to do this? You know? And Aga Khan, and I'm telling you, this is a secret, but I'm telling you, it has this program where, like, the students, all you have to do is just, like, get, like, it's merit-based, yeah? So you get into the school by merit, and then according to how much your family is able to make, then they cover the rest. So now, but the low catch. Oh, there's always a catch, you guys. There's always a catch. They make you pay 200K first, so that they can now, like, allow you to apply for that, you know. So now it's like we're sitting with this decision in front of us. My parents and I were thinking, how likely is it that they'll give us enough of a percentage that we'll be able to afford it if we pay 200K? And I don't know which families you guys come from, but 200K for us, that's a lot. That's a lot of money. Six figures, that's a lot of money for us. But we decided to go ahead and do it. And unfortunately, it did not go too well. We did not get enough money. But somehow, God helped us through that first year, and I was able to finish. And it came in the form of a member of staff at Aga Khan came up to me one day, and she was like, Moraa. And I'm like, hi. And then she was like, oh, you remember me, right? And I'm like, of course I remember you. You interviewed me. Thank you, because if it wasn't for you, I wouldn't have had a chance to come here, you know? And then she was like, you know that you can come to me for whatever you need. And I was like, sure. And then she was like, whatever you need. And I was like, sure, thank you. And then I didn't think about it again. And then she called me to her office, and she was like, do you need anything from me that I can help you with? And I was like, okay, my parents are kind of struggling. She paid my school fees for the 2nd and 3rd trimester. And then this year that's just ending right now, the school covered 95% of my tuition. And that lady who helped cover last year, she covered the rest of the 5%. So I have this year paid nothing. Let me just run it back for you guys a little bit. SDA parents, SDA family, SDA primary schools, and then free 5 years of international schools, followed by basically free 2 years of medical school. And I'm standing here today able to speak the way I wanted to, in like that girl that talked to us, and also in medical school, which means I'm well on my way to becoming a doctor as well, right? And so I won't mention the reason why I'm here today for this vigil, because you'd come at such a shock, because it's like, why do I have so much anxiety, you know? Why am I always so stressed? Why do I have this overwhelming fear of failure? Why am I faced with, why do I feel like there's so much holding me back, you know? And for the first time today, as I was listening to other people's testimonies and listening to other people speaking, I understood what it was. I had the ignorant assumption that whatever else was happening in my life already was somehow my doing. And by failing this exam, which is the reason why I'm here today, you guys, by failing this exam that I'm studying on Monday, I'll be somehow disappointing everyone, you know? Somehow like proving myself to not be good enough, or proving myself as a failure, which, again, I'll go back, is an ignorant assumption. Because as you can tell from the things that I've already said, none of anything that has happened in my life has been my doing. So I just wanted to say how grateful I am for my existence, and I'm ashamed of the fact that I haven't spoken about this sooner, and I'm ashamed of the fact that I haven't shared my glory, God's word with other people, and I'm ashamed of the fact that I could be ashamed of who I am as a person. You know, if these exams don't work out, it doesn't mean that it's the end for me. You know, God has already proven over and over and over in my life that he's able to take me through when I couldn't do it by myself. So I hope that I can be able to be a testimony to other people that God is so, so good. Thank you.